Hello everybody, and welcome back to Gentoo.
We're your favorite place for all things gaming and tech related.
And welcome to the last regular episode of Gentoo. Next week is the beloved blooper episode.
But for this week, we've got one last episode of news just for you.
So let's dive right into this week's patch notes.
Beloved drug production and distribution game Schedule 1, an indie game that has recently topped charts on Steam, has been hit with a copyright claim by some competition. The publisher of Drug Dealer Simulator, Movie Games, has not fully leveled a lawsuit yet, but instead merely just an investigation to look for any possible infringement. A spokesperson for Movie Games has stated, "There is no ill will towards TVGS. We even mailed them best wishes shortly before the game's release, when the game was already huge but before the investigation was deemed necessary. However, we are obligated to perform this investigation." And they aren't wrong. Due to Movie Games being a publicly traded company, they could have faced severe consequences for negligence.
Indiana Jones is finally receiving a major game after over 20 years. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle takes you to the year 1937 and into the shoes of the world's most adventurous archaeologist. Travel from the halls of the Marshall College to the heart of the Vatican, the pyramids of Egypt, the sunken temples of Sukhothai, and beyond. Use your ever-present whip to disarm enemies, grab items, and most importantly, navigate the world around you and discover new mysteries and treasures. But you aren't alone. Sinister forces across the globe are racing against you to uncover one of the greatest mysteries of all time. Grab Indiana Jones and the Great Circle when it releases on April 17th.
If you like Papers, Please, check out this new game, Beholder Conductor. You have been appointed the conductor of your nation's legendary train. This train is your domain. It is your responsibility to maintain order in your carriage and provide assistance to your passengers. You have several tools at your disposal: reporting, intimidation, searches, and last but not least, ejection. Do your job well and you might move up in the train, accessing the dining car or VIP compartments and carriages where the big industrialists and high-ranking officials ride, or betray your ministry and smuggle packages for a pretty penny. Serve your regime well when Beholder Conductor releases on April 23rd.
Are you a fan of dark fantasy, grim dark tales, and shooting bad guys? Then check out Moroi. After waking into a living nightmare with no name or past, but one thing that is not gone is the record of your misdeeds. Your crimes are beyond comprehension, your conviction cannot be contested, and your sentence is to be eternal. Try and fight your way out of the living, ever-changing labyrinth with elements of Enter the Gungeon, Dark Souls, and even a bit of Doom. This third-person top-down action adventure game looks to bring you to the edge of madness and kick you off the ledge with subtle changes to the story as you play the multiple fate-changing endings. Can you survive the nightmare fairy tale that is Moroi? Or will you succumb to the madness and be subjected to the punishment for your crimes?
Google has updated their video AI model, Veo 2, allowing for cinematic generations and editing real footage. The newest feature of Veo 2 including inpainting for removing background images, logos, or distractions in the background, and outpainting, which functions similarly to Adobe's generative expand features. This allows you to select parts of your footage to generate either new backgrounds around it, or even completely extend your footage by several seconds. Veo 2 was also given cinematic techniques present used for composition of your videos. Some examples are drone-style POVs and simulating camera panning in different directions.
Have you ever wanted to be like Jon Snow and own your own direwolf? Well, that might actually be a possibility sometime in the future, or at least something close to it. Meet Romulus and Remus, who are what scientists claim to be the once extinct direwolf. Using some preserved DNA and some crazy genetic editing using something called CRISPR, a company named Colossal has rewritten the genetic code of the common gray wolf to exactly match the genome of the extinct direwolf. They'll also use domestic dogs as surrogate mothers to bring Romulus, Remus, and now their 2-month-old sister Khaleesi. Remember what I said about Jon Snow? While the other two are only 6 months old, they are nearly 4 feet long and 80 pounds, and are expected to grow upwards of 6 feet and 150 pounds. But maybe the whole pet thing might not work out, as even though the two brothers were bottle-fed from birth, nowadays they avoid their handlers and keep their distance from any humans that even try to approach. While some dispute the whole unextincted direwolf and claim that it's just genetic editing, I think we can all still appreciate how cool this actually is.
And that just about does it for our news this week. Who would have thought they would just start bringing animals back?
Do you think they've ever watched Jurassic Park before?
If not, they need to, like really, really fast.
Well, we might all end up getting eaten by dinosaurs. Let's check out our shows while we have the chance.
Welcome back to Surviving Horror, the show where we go over different games in the horror genre and dissect what is the scariest aspect of each story, in my opinion. This week, we're finally taking the trip to Raccoon City to talk about the Resident Evil 2 remake, released in 2019, developed by Capcom. On September 29, 1998, rookie cop Leon Kennedy meets college student Claire Redfield on their way to Raccoon City. But once they arrive, they find themselves trapped in the Midwest town after a zombie outbreak. We have finally reached the godfather of survival horror video games. The Resident Evil series started back in 1996 and has spawned over 20 games in its lifetime, ranging from its original survival horror roots to action horror to blockbuster action back to survival horror. After the success of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, Capcom decided to stick with the less action, more horror tone that made the series famous, and they would carry that into remaking one of their benchmark titles for a new audience. Resident Evil 2 is an interesting game from a gameplay perspective. The way you experience this story is through your choice of protagonist. You get the choice to play as either Leon or Claire. But in both playthroughs, there is a constant overarching theme that is present, and that theme is what I believe to be the scariest aspect in the story: corporate greed. In the city limits of Raccoon City lies the headquarters for the Umbrella Corporation, the pharmaceutical company that is the main source of income for the city. As the night goes on, you begin to realize that all of the undead bioweapons that follow you are the creations of the Umbrella Corporation. All of the victims were subjected to the G virus, created by Dr. William Birkin in an attempt to repair dead tissue and bring consciousness back to its host. But the longer the game goes on, you begin to realize that the virus has more than a few side effects on anyone who is exposed to it. Ranging from the streets of Raccoon City to the sewer below the ground, you witness some of the most notorious enemy variety in video game history. From the base game zombie to the mutated lickers, every enemy in the game is iconic. But the most memorable of Umbrella's creations is the bioorganic weapon known as the T-00 Tyrant, or as fans of the series call him, Mr. X. Throughout all the enemies that you encounter in the Resident Evil franchise, Mr. X is easily the scariest boss in my opinion. A giant, intelligent, relentless stalker enemy that hunts Leon and Claire throughout the halls of the RPD. The scariest thing about Mr. X is that you can take him down like most of the other enemies in the game, but he will always get back up and continue to pursue you. Even when you eventually lose him, you can hear his footsteps through the floors of the police department, reminding you that he is still out there and he will not stop until he finds you. The Resident Evil 2 remake has sold over 14.5 million units since its release, and is arguably the catalyst for the recent trend of remakes in gaming. If you have played Resident Evil 2, please let us know what you think of it down below. Check back with us next week as we venture to Sevastopol Station. This has been Jake Walker with Surviving Horror.
Running since 1971, broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Featuring programs and news from National Public Radio, as well as Americana, jazz, and classical music. KXCV 90.5 FM Maryville, KNRW 88.9 FM Chillicothe.
Welcome to Untold Stories, your brand new spot for an inside look at everyday people. We'll be taking a behind-the-scenes look at anything from libraries to your favorite local restaurant or even your next-door neighbor, showing off all the parts of their day you wouldn't usually see. Finding the reason why people do what they do and what keeps them going each day. All right here on KNWT, airing Wednesdays at noon.
Welcome back to another episode of GTA Insight. Today we will discuss the agency missions available on GTA Online. This is the best money method that keeps your attention and you can play solo. The payout comes to around $1,100,000, which is great since GTA tax on everything is astronomical. The mission consists of 9 preps that are split into 3 different categories of 3. A a mission before the finale, and the finale. In these missions, your goal is to retrieve Dr. Dre's stolen music and return it safely to him. However, it doesn't exactly work out that way. I'll review some of my favorite preps from this mission and then explain the finale. In the first prep, called the nightclub, you're tasked with finding where the data got leaked to start the trail. You start by going to a nightclub to find out more information. The prep gives you the ability to go in stealthy or go in loud, and that is why it's one of my favorites. I love having this option. I recommend the stealthy route since it causes less problems if you can do it right. After you enter and make your way through the nightclub using stealth, you make it to the office where you end up stealing the security tape. After taking the tape, you return it to the office and continue to the next mission. My other favorite mission is called High Society. In this mission, you end up taking a Rolls Royce to the Playboy Mansion for a high society party, by which Dr. Dre's music is being played again. You can enjoy the party for a while before getting active, or you can get straight to it. I recommend starting the chaos as soon as you get there because it quickens the mission, and I'm all about making bread. After you start shooting, the crowd disperses, and your main objective is to literally blow everything up and kill as many guards as you can. After a while, the owner of the party comes out of the mansion and gets in his helicopter to escape. You end up tracking him down and finishing the mission by killing him and returning his phone to the agency. The finale to this mission is when you finally find out who stole Dr. Dre's music. Your mission is to hunt him down and capture him for Dre to talk to him. You end up finding him and having to kill some of his goons to capture him, but he ends up escaping the first place, so you have to track him down to a hangar where you eventually catch him red-handed. After you catch him, Dr. Dre talks to him for a while, and then you take Dr. Dre back to his helicopter that is waiting for him. This is where you will finally get your $1 million. That is all for this week's episode of GTA Insight. Tune in next week for more content and have an amazing rest of your week.
Thank you for tuning in to our last regular episode of the season.
It's been a blast once again, and we hope you enjoyed not only this episode,